Welcome to the History of Comic Books. I'm your host, Terry Hockness. This is the most in-depth documentary ever made on the origins of comic books in the United States. The standard comic book size and format debuted in 1933, so we begin our journey there to analyze every single comic book printed during the 1930s in America. Join us for a step-by-step chronology of the American comic book. This series looks at every comic book published in the 30s. This epic series is 16 hours long, all in chronological order with no commercials. All 750 comics of the 1930s are analyzed one by one, pointing out every single key ingredient, from important and popular characters to the birth of the superheroes such as Superman and Batman, and the crime genre, and also the writer and artists that worked on these books. You'll see the earliest science fiction and funny animal strips, plus the most loved household name newspaper comic book strips which now appeared in this new comic book format. The years 1933 to 1936 are analyzed by specific publishers and titles. 1937 to 1939 are analyzed month by month, so you can actually relive what the newsstands would have been like exactly at that time. You can click on two different playlists that help you go through these videos in order. We also analyzed the CGC census for rarity of every single comic book and the Overstreet annual price guide values for each comic in low and high grade as well, to give you a concise history but also from a collectible point of view. You can also read the entire 16-hour script at my website, hocknesscomics.com, and you can read thousands of other articles I've written about collecting and investing in comic books from all eras. I'd like to thank some of the amazing people who did research and the websites that helped assist me in compiling this massive project. First of all, thanks go to the contributors at the Grand Comics Database, which is the most amazing site ever dedicated to comics from around the world. The Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide by Bob Overstreet is the comic Bible of the industry. I am a market reporter for the annual guide. This is my original inspiration and fascination with comic book history and the collectability of comic books. The Lambic Comiclopedia is a fascinating website with extensive details on hundreds of vintage comic book creators, many that are obscure with details not found anywhere else. The Digital Comic Museum is an amazing reference showing all the interior pages from thousands of vintage comics from the Golden Age. Mike's Amazing World of Comics at dcindex.com is one of my all-time favorite websites. So much useful info and overwhelming data on the entire history of comics. Use these websites to educate yourself further if you have an interest in comic book history, and keep the interest in comics alive. Thanks for watching and supporting my comic book history project, and for supporting the books I have written on investing in comic books. More details can be found at hocknesscomics.com. Thanks again.